This is the Self-Aware Leader Podcast. Now your host, Jason Rigby.
Let's talk about trust. Do you fear things? Because you can't fear and trust at the same time. You can't have care and love and support and consideration for others and fear at the same time. I read a great article on this from Lisa Jacobs at marketyourcreativity.com, and she gets into this and she asks this question with trust. And I love this as leaders. She says, do you trust your business to provide? That's a loaded question, isn't it, guys? Listen to me when I say this. Pause, whatever you're doing, and think about this. Just snap right into awareness. And I really want you to think about this question. If you need to write this question down on our Self-Aware Leader notepads that I'm going to be creating, because we're always going back to the notepad, but grab a notepad and write this question down. I want you to think about it all day. Put it on your to-do list at the top really big. Do you trust your business to provide? So how do you have more trust in your business? How do you cultivate a deep trust in your business? Because a lot of times we look at our business as this taskmaster that's unruly, and then we're a slave to the business, that we serve the business. But how often, and this is a great article that she wrote, and I love this. She said, how often do we allow the business to serve us back and have it serve us faithfully over time? Trust is that two-way street back and forth. And, we can be dedicated to something, and we can be all in and work 120 hours a week and 7 days a week and do that. But if we don't have trust in our business, then it's not going to be able to hold us long term. It's not going to be able to provide for us long term, to support us. So how can you build a better, more trusting, more loving relationship with your business? This is what she says, and I love this. She says, trust is one of the most complex emotions human experience. It's defined as the firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. So in business, we give trust away a bit more freely because we have a whole lot less riding on those interactions. And she uses a perfect example of, I trust Apple because I believe in the reliability of my iPhone. I agree to something in business because it's offering me and it has the ability to deliver it. So she says, now having provided this example of trust, which feels more like the trust you have or need with your business? Does it feel easy and transactional? And a lot of us, if we were honest, we would say that our business doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel easy and transactional. Or does it feel open, vulnerable, sacred, and personal? When I look at the business that you have and the promise, what does that look like? Because it's and we always want to separate our personal from the business. But she says there's no escaping it. The business is personal. It's tied to your name. It's the identity of you. It's a story. And she even goes on to say that it's directly tied to illustration, photo, artwork, programs, products, and our books. The business is attached to a very authentic version of you. In one form or another, your work becomes a vulnerable expression of your creativity. And then she asks the question, it's so beautiful about your business, how could that not be personal? So she gets into a little bit of, and I want us to look at as trust as this necessary nutrient that must be mixed into the soil. And she asks these questions to cultivate trust. And she says, ask yourself, and then ask this with the give and take with your business. Number one, do I feel free and safe to make mistakes? How do you react when you make a mistake in your business? How do you react? Do you feel safe in that environment? Do you beat yourself up? Do you like, oh, what an idiot, Jason. I can't believe this. This is so horrific. You made the biggest mistake in your life. How are you going to recover from this? We're not going to be able to make payroll and blah, blah, blah. Next question, do I feel free and safe to take calculated risks? You've got to create systems in place where you're able and free to be able to focus on what risk you need to take to grow and scale the business. Because with scaling takes risk. With growing, it always takes risks. Now, this one hit me the hardest, and this is the most personal, and this is one that I need to work on, because I view my business like this mean father that is ready at any moment. I've got to look up to and be good, and I'm not good enough, and so I've got to perform and do more. And I think a lot of mainly more the men than women, but I think a lot of men are out here will feel this same way. And you guys, I think this is important for you to listen to. She said this: do I feel a clean, open, and reaffirming energy with my business? No. I need to work on this. I need to feel clean about my business. I need to feel open about it. I need to have this reaffirming energy, because what I'm viewing it as is I have to constantly serve it. It's never happy with me. The business is always 24/7 nagging me, needing to do more because I'm never good enough. And I need to always appease it because it's never happy. That's a great question, guys. I'm going to say the question again for the third time. And this is so good. Do I feel a clean, open, and reaffirming energy with my business? Next one is, am I willing to face the difficult decisions and have the hard conversations? You've got to catch yourself when you're being passive aggressive and have the ability to have the strength to call yourself out on it. And you have to say, this is self-aware practice. You have to say this: I'm being passive aggressive right now. I'm just not willing to have the hard conversation. I'm going to have it right now. I'm going to call this person. I'm going to text them and say, hey, are you available? I just need 10, 15 minutes. Let me know. Let's schedule it. Or can I call you now? You need to have the hard conversation. You need to make the difficult decisions. Some of you guys right now are putting something off that is driving you absolutely nuts and you're extremely worried about. And it's the worry and putting it off that stresses you out more than actually having the conversation. But a lot of you don't know coaching, and you don't know how to have the difficult conversation. And I've done podcasts on this, and this is why we have a self-aware leader community, because we can help each other when we face these difficult decisions and hard conversation times. Then the last question she says is, am I confident that my business operates on sound judgment? I like to say, am I confident that my business operates on sound judgment when I'm not even there? When I'm on vacation, will it operate on sound judgment? Have I practiced leadership from the $10 an hour person all the way up to my COO, my CFO? Have I led them well enough where I could trust, keyword again, in their sound judgment? This is a lot of self-aware work, guys. This is trust building. And this is really cool. This is really open. And if some of you are listening to the end now, and this is something that you're interested in, do the reflective work. You will see things that will come alive and will help you. When you see those things and you handle those things, you're going to build self-confidence. And in this self-confidence, it's like Lego building blocks. You build one thing and it's super cool. You're going to want to do the next one, which is a little bit harder. Then you do that one. You're like, I want to tackle the next big Lego project. Brick after brick after brick, harder brick after harder brick after harder brick. You get self-confidence by doing it. The more self-aware work you do, the more reflective work you do, the more you get into looking at your shadow and not judging it and understanding what it is. When you go and dive into your fear, and I'm talking about you don't have to swim with sharks and all that shit. What I'm talking about is that you begin to trust and understand why you can't trust. Why you can't trust others, why you can't trust your partner, why you can't trust your business, and do that work. It's going to create self-confidence. You're going to see where there's breakdowns in your routines and your goals and things that you're struggling with, and you're going to be able to build a solid foundation based off of this. So guys, start looking at what trust building looks like, and I guarantee you, when you begin to feel and forgive yourself, it's going to make everything around you not only better, but it's going to make it immediately, and I'm using that word because this is what happens. When you become more self-aware, the surroundings, the matrix that are around you begins to build in a whole different environment. And that environment right there is built out of trust. It's a building block, a Lego building block of trust. So find where you're vulnerable, find where you need to be more open, especially guys, where you need to be more open. Get personal with yourself, and I guarantee you, I promise you, you'll be more creative, you'll have more success, and with trust in your relationships, they're going to be way more than you ever thought that you could even handle.
Thank you for tuning in to the Self-Aware Leader Podcast with host Jason Rigby. We hope this episode has inspired you to unleash your full potential and embrace your inner leadership. By expanding your consciousness, you can transform your mind, body, and soul and become the remarkable leader you were always meant to be. If you found this episode valuable, please share it with your loved ones and help us expand our community. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to having you join us again on the Self-Aware Leader Podcast.